okay? Whether you believe it or not, that I leave up to you. But it seems that the hell, according to the descriptions of various stories and so on, seems to be right underground, not uh, not close to the ground, rather further from the ground, but it's underground. You may like to know that the lowest that humans were able to drill into the ground was only several kilometers. Deepest a human could drill into the. So that's still the story from 1989. So you see, since 1989, there has not been any good or remarkable attempt or breaking of the record in drilling into the ground. And in 1989, they were able to get 7.6 miles underground. And then their device started to melt. So they were not able to go lower. But how to say that? The planet is not 7 miles, in diameter. No, it's much more. So 7 miles, 7.6 miles is not much. It's what AI told me, but I have already read about this before, so it's not new information for me. It's just that I forgot the number. You can check it out here in Wikipedia. So we do not really know what's underground. There are only assumptions, hypotheses. That's all. Nothing else. Ideas. So there may be hell. There may be. And maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you will become the powerful scientist in the future and you will be able to drill lower, let's say 8 miles or more. But it's amazing how we are fed information without the necessary emphasis, or I'd say sufficient emphasis, on what is a hypothesis and what is an evidence that you can go and check. And indeed, we have no idea what's below those, let's say, 8 miles underground in most of the places around the world. So you cannot say, oh, scientists have disproved it. But suppose that scientists will drill 100 miles underground. Let me see how much they have to drill. They would have to drill, if you wanted to go from one, let's say you have like a ball. It's not a ball, but I'm speaking about ball to simplify. So let's say that the planet is like a ball. It's not a ball. It has a different shape, but let's keep it simple. So let's say that they drill from one side and they want to drill all the way to the other side. Have you ever played Worms? If you ever played Worms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you drill over like this throughout the planet all the way until the end, I played Worms 16 years ago, by the way. But if you don't know it, it doesn't matter too. So you would have to drill about 8,000 miles. What is 8 miles in comparison to 8,000 miles? It's nothing. It's nothing. So, but suppose that you would really drill all of those 8,000 miles all the way to the other side of the planet, and you would not find hell. What will I say? What will Christians say? What will Muslims say? Or Jews? All of those believe in hell. Well, Christians will say the God did not open up hell yet, so they have no problem with that. Muslims probably too. Not sure how Jews, but many Christians believe that hell is already available. And in Buddhism, we absolutely believe, and in Hinduism as well, we believe that hell is already available, that beings are really getting there. And what if they don't find the hell? What if they just get through and there's no hell? Well, then we will say that the hell is invisible, just like we said about the heaven, right? So the idea previously was that the gods live, on the clouds, and we just, cannot get enough high to touch them. Maybe you have heard the story of Babylon, the Tower of Babel. Do you say Babel? In Czech, we say Babel. So the Tower of Babel or Babel or whatever you want to say it, call it, was built allegedly to reach the God. Well, the idea was apparently that somehow the God is there in the sky and you just need to get there. But when people developed airplanes, they went into the sky and they didn't find the God there. So what did the Christians do? What did the Buddhists and Hindus do in the first place? Well, they said it is invisible or it is somewhere else. So probably if we drill deep into the ground and we do not find hell, we'll probably say the same thing. No, it's invisible or it's somewhere else. But my sense is that hell is underground. I would like to encourage you, everybody, to drill into the ground and to show, not believe or think. I am not sure whether I will become sufficiently rich to make a project like that, but I would like to make amazing projects like that. That would be amazing. Imagine it, that I become multi-billionaire in dollars and I make a project of drilling into the ground, and then we will really drill through. We'll probably not drill through because the temperature is just insane, but we can drill as much as we can. So I believe that the hell is underground. Yes, I believe that. Why do I believe that? Because in a chronicle or in a historic, records of the Czech Republic, we know that in like 13th century after Christ, there was a hole, and people believed that if you go through that hole into the ground, you will reach hell. And the king took a convict from the prison, and a convict, to be executed, and said, you know what, if you go through this hole, you don't have to be executed. So he agreed, and the king, whatever the ministers or people there, they put him on a rope, and they gradually let him, go down through that hole to see if there's hell. And so he went down through that hole, and when he went very much deep, he said that he heard a lot of screams and he doesn't want to continue because he would rather die than continue. So did that really happen? Or did the Czechs make it up? I don't know. I have no idea. In our scriptures, two things. We have one type of stories, and then we have one story which seem to indicate that indeed hell is underground. So one is that when somebody would like be super, super evil, like really, really horrible, evil, bad person, then the ground would open up and they would fall into the ground, and then the ground would close up. And the explanation is the person went into the hell. Now we know that the ground sometimes opens up and cars fall in, or buses fall in, or things fall in. We know that, but the ground doesn't close up above them, and usually there is nobody in those vehicles or things. In this case, in these stories, it's always a human being. They didn't have many. They had vehicles, but we do not really hear about vehicles falling in the ground. So the ground would open up, they would fall in the ground, and the ground closes out. Like Devadatta or Chinchamana, or this gentleman who, not so gentle, who raped a nun, an arahant nun, and others, I think, too. So quite a few, were swallowed. We use the word swallowed by the ground, and they went to the hell. And second story is about an arahant who has a student who was a hunter, hunter killing animals and so on. And this hunter became a monk under that arahant. The story is more complicated, but we'll simplify. So he became a monk. He was meditating. He was not successful. And he went up to the arahant, to the monk, and he said, Venerable sir, if I'm not successful in meditation, so what about if I just become a layperson again? And the arahant made a crack in the ground, open by his psychic powers, opened it up a little, and he before that even he asked this monk, his student, to make a pile of sticks and leaves and things that are very very wet. It was just raining before this. So this monk, he made this large pile of wet leaves and sticks, and then he came up to the arahant monk, and says, Venerable sir, I have made up this pile. It's finished. And the venerable says, okay. So he made a crack in the ground. He took a little stick from there. He no. He opened up the ground, and from deep inside, he took a little spark, and he made that spark to fly from over there all the way on the wet pile that was made. And that spark, according to the story, ignited that pile of wet sticks so that it immediately became dust. Physically, how would that be possible? It's a little harder to explain, because as soon as you move the spark from down up, the spark would probably reduce in temperature. But maybe the psychic power, we are here talking about psychic power all the time. So the arahant maybe maintained the temperature of the spark all the time, all the way until it touched the pile. And if it was really that hot, then of course the heat that would be surrounding the spark would turn the pile into dust. That's what I think about. So because of these stories, it seems that really hell is underground, or at least the authors of these stories believed that. And it definitely would be interesting if somebody could drill the ground and really find the truth. Because so far, we have no clue what's beyond those 8 miles. And out of 8,000, that's not much. So that's my idea. Hell is probably underground. Christians, I think, believe that too. But in many religions, they believe that the hell and heaven will be accessible only after the so-called last judgment. What is the last judgment? We do not have last judgment in Buddhism, although we do have judgment. We're getting a little complicated. But last judgment in Christianity and Islam is that as the time goes, so now we have 2024, and let's say after some time, maybe 2025, maybe 3,000, maybe 5,000, maybe 1 million, nobody knows. But many Christians say, it's coming soon, it's coming soon. Actually, they've been saying it for about 2,000 years, by the way. So it's coming soon, whatever soon means. And then Jesus is coming back on earth, and according to Islam as well as according to Christianity, they agree on that. And Jesus will be judging the humans, and according to Islam, even animals, according to what good or bad they did, and accordingly they will go to heaven or to hell. So until there's this judgment, the heaven and hell is not accessible. Although some very, very special, very, very special beings like humans can get to heaven directly, like the saints, or like when the God took Enoch, according to the Old Testament and so on. So, according to some religions, there is hell and heaven, but not yet. It's coming soon. In Hinduism and in Buddhism, no, hell and heaven are here already now. And so this is very important to remember. We do have judgment in Buddhism, but that's only for the lucky people. Judgment is only for the lucky people. If you are lucky, after you die, I mean, if you're a lucky evil person, then after you die, as a lucky evil person, you get to see the King Yama, and the King Yama will ask you, so did you bow down to your parents? Did you give something to monks and nuns? Did you did you pay respect to old people, and so on and on? He will be asking questions like that. And then if you say no, 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 then he will say, but didn't you know that other people, that there are monks and nuns who are worthy of donations? Didn't you know that there are all other people, that there are parents and so on? And he will say, yes, yes, yes. And then the King Yama says, oh, okay, so you're worthy of hell. So then his workers will grab this one and throw him into the hell. And then it continues how he suffers in hell and so on. The Buddha explains it in detail. This is the Buddha's direct explanation. So, yes, we do have judgment, but that judgment is happening for those who are evil and lucky at the same time. And it happens right after death. They do not have to wait until Jesus comes. But I wonder if the Buddha Metteya comes first or if Jesus comes first. And you know what? Some people could say actually Buddha Metteya and Jesus is the same thing. Like in Islam, Dr. Zakir Naik, he suggests that actually the Buddha was the prophet of Allah. It's just that the Buddhists did not write it down correctly. So different people believe different things.